Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BB-Scho. As always, I'm your host, Beebs, joined by my co-host, Chen. We're back. We're a day late, some scheduling conflicts, but we're going to get this up tonight. Week 8 recap, Week 9 preview. We are right at the halfway point of the season. But before we dive into any football-related talk, Chen, how are you doing today, man?
Doing great. Doing fantastic. It's Tuesday, set day late, but
Tuesday.
Tuesday, Thrip Tuesday. It's one of those things where last night's game wasn't too eventful, but we're going to throw it back 5 days now to the Rams Vikings game because I don't have a whole lot to say about Vikings too much. I think I said a little negativity on them last week, so I'm gonna go easy. But on the Rams side of things, getting Puka back, just seeing Stafford dice him up. Um, it's games like this, man, where it's like you see the Rams, maybe they go on a run. They always, when healthy, have the core, especially with McVay. It's just they're always old and never healthy. And even with like Cooper Kupp being over the age of 30, I feel like he must have been drafted old because he does not seem like a guy that would be 31 right now. But
He was.
yeah, I don't know. You're just kind of thoughts on like the game as a whole. A great, I mean, the Rams that really kind of helps their season get back on track. But I don't think it
I
does too much for the Vikings.
I think you hit the nail on the head. One of those things that the Rams got put in this conversation of like their season is dead. And I kind of always felt like Rams have juice, man. The Rams still have juice if they're healthy. And this proves it. I like everybody knows how we feel about the Vikings. This really doesn't change my opinion of the Vikings. Albeit slightly concerned about the defense the last 2 weeks, but and let me check that score before I say something that Jake's going to be like, "Oh, you were incorrect," because he always fact checks us on the Vikings. Yeah, the
I
Lions game.
love
I
that.
was I was trying to remember if it was actually the Lions last week.
Mhm.
Defense has not been quite as crisp. 30 points back to back weeks. That's just like they've set a high bar and they're not meeting that bar. They're still a good defense, but the bar is just that high. My main concern, though, and they just traded for I can't think of his name, Jaguars left tackle, but Christian Darrisaw going down and out for the year is a massive loss for this offense. Massive loss. They've already made that adjustment. I saw the Twitter like less than an
Cam
hour.
Robinson, by the way, for that
Yeah,
tackle.
Cam
Yeah.
Robinson. I don't know what they paid for him. I don't. Last I checked, it hadn't been released what the price was. I don't know if that's been Adam Schefter's gotten that
Draft
out yet.
picks,
Yeah, exactly,
assuming some
exactly.
conditionals,
Yeah.
find some
So,
majors.
I like the aggression. I don't know why a starting left tackle is on the trading block, but that's not my place, Jacksonville. But I like the
Players say that.
aggression. It's clear they're in win now mode. They know they have a good team. They know they have good momentum. This doesn't really change my outlook on the Vikings. However, it does really hurt the Vikings.
Mm,
This was a massive loss for the Vikings.
mm.
Darisaw going down is a loss, yes, but just in their division that they play in, this is a huge loss. I mean, this is like any loss at this point is a setback, right?
Fair enough.
The Bears feel awful, right? And we'll get to the Bears game, but any loss is a setback when you've got a high school football team 50 balling week in and week out, everybody else in the league. It's like, how do I keep up with this, man? Like, how do I keep up with this?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point because
I'm glad we're
everybody's
on the
still
same
with
page.
500.
I'm glad we're on the same page with the Rams too, because I actually think that division is like in reach for them. Like, you're gonna call me crazy, but I'm not high on the Niners, and I'm not high on the Seahawks, and I'm not high on the Cardinals, and I'm not that high on the Rams. But it's like at 3-4, should we go through the next five? Like, it's kind of Seahawks,
So you built some
right?
momentum.
Seahawks, Dolphins, Patriots, Eagles, Saints, Bills. There's some games left on the schedule, actually. They've got some layups and they've got some. I mean, you got to play the Bills and the Niners still. This is a
We'll see
conversation.
who they are.
Yeah,
We will see
we
who they
we
are.
will see who they are. It's gut check time. But we mentioned the Cardinals. We can pivot. And we mentioned the Dolphins a little bit. This was a game I put on the script. Tua's back. Tua is back. Your thoughts on the return of Tua Tagovailoa to the field? the Dolphins offense all of a sudden existing again. What does that mean? What do we learn from this? Who is Tua? That's kind of where my head goes. And
Who
then they
is
ultimately
Tua?
lost the game on COD launch week to the Cardinals. That was just shocking,
That's
honestly.
something else. If
But
Kyler's going to cook during COD week, we're in trouble. Uh,
Cardinals 4-4, Dolphins fall to 2-5. Your thoughts?
yeah. Uh, Dolphins, that's not a loss they can really take. I mean, I think it's safe to say their season is done. I'm going to be a little, I think, biased in my aggression towards Dolphins here, considering Tyreek Hill said, "Start me," and proceeded to deliver the most pedestrian wide receiver guy who had almost 2,000 yards, tried to make statement game ever. Um, I get their offense is back, yes. Will it be enough to save McDaniel's job at the end of the year? Not too sure. I think it really depends the vibe in that locker room. From the Cardinals
It'll be
standpoint,
enough.
though,
It'll be enough.
yeah. From the Cardinals at 4-4, I mean, we just talked about the NFC West being pretty wide open. This is a solid win for them, but it's also like it doesn't tell me much about the Cardinals right now. Like I still think it's a team that if they go above 500, they're probably overperforming just given the roster. Um,
This to me
yeah,
tells me more about the Dolphins. I agree because it's like
yeah,
okay, with Dolphins healthy, they're actually just average even then.
they're fine. Yeah, they're
But
like
I
they're
do
just
have I do have some pushback. You said the Dolphins season is dead. They are currently 2-5. Mathematics would say that their season is dead. However, they're in second in the AFC East. Let's establish right now the Bills have a 4-game lead in their division.
okay. Yeah, so they're gonna
So
get it.
yes, but they are second in the AFC East, which means that there's wins out there in their division that they have not played yet, if healthy. Okay. And there's 11 teams in the NFL right now with 2 wins or less. It's the worst. I mean, some of the worst football like I've ever seen from some teams. Somebody of that 11, in my opinion, is going to make a run.
Hmm.
Somebody of that 11, 2 or less, or I think it's 3 wins or less group is going to make a run. And there are a couple teams that we've talked about that we think that are currently still in this bunch that
Mm-hmm.
we think are actually decent teams. Okay. The Rams are one of them, right? They just now they're 3-4. They have juice. We know how we feel about the Bengals. We think the Bengals have juice. I think the Dolphins have some juice. I think that there's an avenue here where all of a sudden, we go through their schedule and it's like and this what you're right. This was a need. They're on a need to win every week basis, considering they play the Bills and the Rams back to back. Okay, maybe I'm regressing this take based on the rest of it. Oh my god,
Yeah,
their schedule's awful.
and I just don't think
I
in terms
take
of
back. I take
legitimate,
every. I
yeah.
regret everything. I
Yeah,
I
so I take it all back. And even with when we say season is dead, I'm coming from the aspect of can this team make a playoff run and get to the Super Bowl? And the Dolphins when they looked good, we were still like, just wait till it gets cold outside. And it's actually
and now
funny. I
they're
was
going to
just
Buffalo on Sunday, November the 3rd.
yeah, like we've seen this one before, and it's so funny. I was watching, it's up on my screen right now, ironically enough, HBO Hard Knocks in season Miami Dolphins last year. Didn't get around to watching it till now, but I'm only 20 minutes into the first episode, and something Tyreek Hill says is, which I've never actually heard, is the team only goes as far as the best player, which thought it used to be the other way around. Maybe in
Yeah, you're
basketball,
only
that's
as strong as your
your
weakest
bet,
links.
right? Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not sure that one works. But then I thought back to how they lost and you just couldn't get separation off the line of scrimmage. I'm like, well, that's a pretty telling season way. They went as far as their best player. And yeah, I just think the Dolphins are going to be this mediocre team. And
I think they're going to be worse than me. Okay.
yeah, given their schedule, six
Here's the
wins.
question. Here's the question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice or ice, McDaniels has a job in Miami next year. Let me read their schedule now. Okay. Bills on the road, Rams on the road, Raiders at home, Patriots at home, Packers on the road, Jets at home, Texans on the road, 49ers at home, Browns on the road, and then Jets again in New York.
Yeah, 6 wins. I'm confident in that. 6 wins. That was a good estimation.
Where's the four?
I think one of the Jets, Patriots. Um,
They ain't beating the Bills, Rams,
I think
Packers,
they maybe
Texans, Niners. They're not winning any of those 5 games.
oh
So
boy.
you have Raiders, Patriots, one
Raiders.
of the Jets, and the Browns, and another Jets game in there.
Yeah. So maybe between like Browns.
But I'm telling you right now, if Browns and it's still Jameis,
That's something
talk about a
that's
team
kind
that
of
could have juice. I genuinely like you talk about a team that might have juice. Like
yeah,
oh man, I don't know.
that team
But
looked different.
yeah. Can the Dolphins win the Super Bowl? No. Write it off. Panic button has been hit in Miami.
Did us, yeah, button down, probably
Button
punched in.
down, sounding the alarm,
Wee, wee,
trying to,
wee.
I mean, evacuate the premises. Get out, run.
Call, call the
Speaking
name.
of, yeah, call an ambulance, call an ambulance. And this time it's for
No,
Tua again.
yeah, that's actually is. Yeah, Tyreek Hill. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right, we talk AFC East. Let's talk AFC East, man. AFC
Mhm.
least is what we should be calling it.
It's a good one.
Jets Patriots, man. 25-22 Patriots win. I didn't even realize that the Patriots won this game until I checked that I had to go back and watch the whole game. I was like, what? It's just one of those games that I just kind of zoned out on red zone.
This
Please.
was one I did call. Was it
You
not?
did. You
I
did get
did
this
call.
right.
Now the what's going to kind of hinder this being an upset pick is the Jets' terrible record. But on paper, that was pretty good. And actually, when you go there was a stat, and I gotta look. It was like because the Jets played it, it was like a pretty good game. Like it was have like over like 250 yards of offense. Like held, it was like since like a 1940 stat, like out of like 750 games played, no team is lost. But the Jets had. I'd have to pull it, put it in the YouTube section. But yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Let's can we hop in a time machine, please?
Yes,
I'd like
yes.
to take you back to the very first year we did this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The 2022 regular season. The Jets, the New York Jets,
Mm-hmm.
have a rookie head coach named Robert Saleh. They have just moved off of Sam Darnold and drafted rookie quarterback Zach Wilson. He might have been a sophomore. I cannot remember for sure. I think he was a sophomore at this point. Zach Wilson's going into his second year. Their defense has new additions of Sauce Gardner. Quinnen Williams is becoming a star. He's not a new addition. And somebody else was a new addition as well. The defense is playing at an extremely high level. They have a rookie head coach who's a defensive-minded head coach, and the future is very bright. They have rookie wide receiver Garrett Wilson bursting onto the scene as a superstar talent.
Mm.
The future, for the first time in a long time, is very bright. They fall just shy of making the playoffs for the first time since 2009. They and the national media all say they're a quarterback away. They're a quarterback away. They're a quarterback away. That's all they need.
Famous last words.
They just get a Kirk Cousins in there. Mike White might be an option. Joe Flacco could be. These are all guys winning them games in January and December in this season. They say, you know what? Let's go all in. Let's do it. We're gonna trade for 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers, coming off of his worst season in Green Bay ever since his first year starting. Worst season ever, 9-7.
Mm.
We're going to make a deal. We're going to do it. They do it. The Jets, the juice is there. They got Hard Knocks. All of the media loves the Jets. He's a bad man. The Rodgers, the Jets, New York, every single time. We're so hype in New York. We get Rodgers. We drafted Breece Hall. I forgot to even mention Breece Hall as a dynamic rookie on that 2022.
Yeah.
I forgot to even mention him.
All right, Jets
They've
got
got
about this
juice.
year
They've
too.
got a young offensive core. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. Zach Wilson's going to back up Aaron Rodgers. He's going to learn from the vet. Maybe there's still some hope there. And then we roll out against the Buffalo Bills. And Rodgers tears his Achilles. Okay, the year's lost. Okay. Let's reload. Let's reload, right? Let's reload. We're going to bring everybody back. Okay. We're going to bring them all back. Same core. We're going to restart. Okay.
More Packer friends, I may add. More Packer
Yes.
pals.
Yes. We're actually going to move off of Randall Cobb. We're just going to ignore that. We're going to bring in Alan Lazard, Billy Turner, a couple other names that don't even
Tim
need to be mentioned.
Boyle,
Tim Boyle. Yes. Yes. Nathaniel Hackett. Yes. Yes.
Malik Taylor,
Yes, yes. Okay. I actually, I don't even need to. I don't
Dennis
even.
Kelly.
We don't even need to go down the Packers timeline. Okay, we don't. That's not even my point here. Okay, I'll get to my point. I'm building. We're building. Okay, we're watching a movie. We're building to the
Oh,
climax,
good.
which we are. Present day is the climax. By the way, it's the most despair you'll ever see a franchise. Okay,
Mm.
the Aaron Rodgers experiment. We go all in. We get really unlucky. We're cursed. Quarterbacks get hurt all the time. We can't have good quarterback play. Joe Namath's fault. Yada yada. Right? There's probably some truth to this. Shout out Tub Frog. But we're gonna run it back. Run it back, Turbo. Right? Run it back.
Yeah.
2024. That's our year. We're gonna the Aaron Rodgers experiment. Okay, Zach Wilson no longer on the roster. We don't need a backup quarterback. Rodgers is our guy. We come out and we kind of forgot something. And we by we I mean the Jets. We forgot that the man we traded for was bad the last time he played in Green Bay. And Green Bay was ready to move off of him. We forgot
Oops.
that that was part of the equation here. We didn't trade for MVP Aaron Rodgers from 2021. Green Bay, the franchise that he bled and died for, was so frustrated with this man and was ready to move on. This is four MVPs, a Super Bowl, 5 NFC championship appearances. I mean, years and years of success. And the franchise says he's 37, 38, whatever he was. It's time. The franchise said it's time. And they dumped him off to the Jets. Let's hop in another time machine, shall we?
Oh,
I want to
jeez.
take you to the 2010 NFL season. I'd like to rewind another time that
Holy
the
cow.
Packers, or sorry, the 2008 NFL season.
Okay. Okay.
I got the year wrong.
That's all right.
Another time that the Packers dumped off an aging veteran quarterback to the Jets, and it didn't work because he got hurt. That's just a tidbit. There's no meat to that. That just happened twice. I wanted to troll the Jets fans because this is ridiculous. Okay, so
Yeah.
we get to week 5. We get to week 5, and we decide. Mind you, 2 years ago, we had one of the best young head coaches in the league, one of the best young defenses in the league, some of the best young superstar talents in the league. We're 2-3. We have a game against a division leader who's 3-2. We win this game at home against the Bills. We're leading the division, and we decide going into the week that young defensive-minded head coach, nah, we don't need him. We're gonna fire him. We're gonna fire our head coach in week 5. We're gonna fire our head coach in week 5, and then we're gonna act like everything's okay. We're gonna trade for Devontae Adams the next day. We're gonna trade. I mean, dude, what is going? This is a comedy show, and here we are. Here we are in week 8, and Zach Wilson had more wins last year at this point in time with the same roster almost.
Does get much worse than that,
So
man.
here's the question: nice or ice? Aaron Rodgers nuked this team into another rebuild.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, no, like I don't want to say
The Aaron Rodgers experiment failed so badly that they have to start another rebuild. They went from one of the most young and promising rosters in the league to having to reset everything.
Yeah. I hate to be that way, but yeah. Because it's like what you have Garrett Wilson. That's like your hot commodity, Quinnen Williams.
Who doesn't want to be there?
Right. And Brees Hall already misutilized. Running backs, we know you can't really hinge a team on that. Love Sauce Gardner too, but it's like that almost seems like a Jalen Ramsey situation happening. There's a lot of turmoil, man. And I would not be shocked if they just kind of got to blow it up. They're going to probably bring in a new GM, so it's going to signal rebuild. And it's just like, if you could only learn from history, if you could only actually hop in that time machine for some of these people.
Ah, man. It is
Crazy how it literally repeats itself. Like
it's repeating itself,
verbatim.
but it's blown up even further at this point because it's like, dude, what? And then you have the flip side of this, where Green Bay is a consensus top 5, top 7 team in the league right now, young team
Yeah.
in the league,
Hmm.
and it's like, what happened here? I mean, they got robbed. They got robbed. And I'm not even
Yeah.
saying that as a Packers fan. They got dumped some chump change. They got a second. I mean, they saved the conditional because he didn't play. But it's like anything for this quarterback was an upgrade for Green Bay. I mean, because then Jordan Love comes in and plays well, and it's just like, wow, man, has the Aaron Rodgers experiment just blown up? And now you're talking he's going to retire or he's going to be free agent and go somewhere else and try and do this again somewhere else, and somebody's going to take him. I guarantee it. He's not going to be a
Like
backup
it's
next year.
no way. Which is crazy to say that. No matter how bad he plays, it's like I feel like he could sell himself to a team to be a starter. He's just and it.
And they weren't even. Here's the thing about the Salah thing that blows me away. They weren't even playing that bad when it happened. They were 2-3 and had losses to like the Niners and the rate somebody good, somebody else good, and it's like they were in a good spot, and now they're 2-6 and they haven't won since they fired him, and it's like what are we doing? And their defense is getting progressively worse by the week. And well, by the way, Robert Saleh is a freaking offensive consultant for the Green Bay Packers.
Talking about
That was a straight troll job. That was
yeah,
a straight troll job. I mean,
so happy,
oh my
so happy he did
gosh.
that.
But
Carmen,
seriously, on paper, and Jake is a Packers hater, and he'd agree with this. On paper, let's take half the roster from a failed Packers team that couldn't get out of the divisional round.
yeah,
That a Packers team that lost to the Niners at home in the divisional round after winning 13 games. Let's take half the roster and turn them into and run it back 4 years, 3 years later. Like what?
yeah. Brooklyn Nets of old vibes, almost 10 years to the day.
Oh
That
man.
old KG, Paul Pierce,
Yeah. Yeah.
similar, very very similar.
Turned into Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kyrie Irving. And it's like, what a trade.
Yeah, we're kind of becoming the
And then,
Celtics.
yeah, Kyrie Irving turned into somebody else who's it's Derek White. Is
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
What a
So
trade.
great dynasty.
What
Yeah,
a trade, man. What a trade.
jeez.
The trade that keeps on giving. All right, we can pivot off the Jets Patriots. I have nothing to add for the Patriots side. This changes nothing. This just confirms the Jets stink.
No, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoy
Yeah.
ripping on
Yeah.
the Jets
Yeah.
every once in a while.
All right, quickly touch on. We talked about Jameis a little bit. Ravens, Browns. Does this win change your opinion of either of these teams?
I think it changes for the Browns for me. For the
I mean,
Ravens, not so much because it's a tough, divisional. But
it's
for
an
the Browns,
AFC
it's
North.
like,
It's an AFC North game. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like for the Browns, okay, you have life. I think that's what I took away from that is Winston finally breathed breath of just like fresh air.
To me, it
I
just
think that could
shows
be
how bad Deshaun Watson is.
I agree. Yeah, for him to just kind of come in there.
Jameis Winston comes in 27, 41, 334, 3 touchdowns, and you go beat the Ravens. I mean, he's throwing to
Yeah,
Cedric Tillman and Elijah Moore. They traded Amari Cooper.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, they tried to get worse. Uh, and kudos to Jameis Winston, who I think for a while, is it fair to say he's like underrated at this point? Like
By the way,
he is,
easiest bet of my life. I got plus money this week, plus 120. Jameis Winston over 250 passing yards. Easiest bet of my freaking life. I was like, I don't care. He might throw 5 picks and he's still getting to 250. His line was
yeah,
at like 230. I was like, this is a joke.
he is a player. Dare I say it? When we think of like Geno Smith, just hear me out here.
No,
And he's
I
like
agree.
Marcus Mariota.
I agree.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
He is going to age like wine because his confidence is already there. So
Yeah.
it really is just a
It's
matter of
again,
coaching.
it's a guy of a bygone era where we actually rode our rookie quarterbacks for 3 or 4 years, and they started that whole first contract, or I don't even remember if he started straight out the gate, but he's a guy, a Dalton, a Gino, and Gino didn't even start that much, but just has been around, accepted the backup role, and is now into his 30s and is just like he's a vet. Like he's a vet who's been around, and he's gonna deliver for you. And
Oh yeah,
it's
Joe
just,
Flacco vibes.
people talk, and we can have a pod about this at some point, but people talk about the lost generation of quarterbacks. It's a real thing. Like it's a real thing where you talk about like 10 years ago, you had your aging vets of like um Rodgers, Brady, Manning, Breeze, who were like in their going into their mid 30s, and you're talking about like who's going to come up after them, right? And Roethlisberger was in that, and then like those guys actually just played, kept playing in close to their 40s, and then now there's no real crop of quarterbacks in the mid 30s because like guys like Luck and Wilson, and like
Ah,
that's,
yeah, yeah.
there's like a lost generation there of a lot of picks from that era that didn't pan out because people teams were so quick to move off of them. And now we're seeing, I think, some of those picks from the early 2010s start to come around year 10, year 12. Gino, actually, Flacco goes in the other conversation, but
Yeah, yeah.
Gino, Jameis, I just wouldn't be shocked if things start to pan out and it's like maybe this guy's. We just have such. I think there was just an era where our desire to find the next Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes was so high that teams were just like, okay, wait, I can win a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. I can win multiple Super Bowls with Ben Roethlisberger. I can win a Super Bowl with Trent Green. I know I'm talking about AFC North guys only, but you get my like, or Trent Green, Trent Dilfer, or whoever the Ravens guy was.
Trent Dilfer, yeah,
Yeah,
Trent Green's
Dilfer.
KC guy. Um,
Um, you get my point. I can win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. Like that's he's in that conversation, and it's so. I don't know. We'll talk about there's. You can go way more in depth with the lost generation of quarterbacks thing, but
yeah, yeah.
this doesn't change your opinion of the Ravens.
Nah, I'll just write that off as like tough divisional loss, but still with like yeah, with like the Browns catching fire. That's how you do it with a quarterback change that I think we all kind of were on board for from the beginning.
I agree. Anything in the AFC North, any AFC North matchup, anything's possible.
Hmm.
Staying in the AFC North, Eagles, Bengals. This score is uglier than I remember. I thought it was like 27-17. Not wouldn't really get to 37. Yeah, this is interesting. Your thoughts on the Bengals and the Eagles? Did the Eagles turn a corner?
Turn a corner. I feel like in the sense, what's their record right now?
5-2.
5-2.
I just feel like they were 4-2 and nobody was like talking highly of them.
Yeah, 'cause they had like just like a
They had
weird.
injuries. No Brown, no Smith for a while. They were like,
Yeah, and just like with Sirianni, it's I don't know. It's like people constantly need to be convinced, but Jalen Hurts just kind of run. I mean, he had like 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, he's just kind
yeah.
of unstoppable. You know, a lot of Zach Taylor needs to be fired talk from Twitter now, which is getting louder and louder as the day goes.
Hey man,
Uh,
I've gone back and forth on that. I will own up to I was one of the earliest people saying that, and then I reversed my opinion of it with
I
the
come
play
back around.
last with the play last year from the backup quarterback. I was like, you know what? Zach Taylor might be cooking here because they finished what, like 9-7, and it was like the season wasn't lost. Um, Bengals still have one of the lowest uses of motion in the NFL. You look at their route tree charts, and it's like there's
Conversation, yeah.
conversation to be had.
Are the Bengals dead?
No,
Do you think they're going to make a Super Bowl run with this roster?
look, man,
They're
I'm
dead.
gonna I'm gonna sound like Stephen A. Smith here.
Yeah, yeah.
They got that man on that team, man. And they're never dead. Let me ask you this, okay? We talk about the let me reference JJ Redick, okay? JJ Redick famously said on the LeBron podcast before he took the coaching job, they were talking about how the Warriors changed the way basketball's played. And not in the sense that Steph Curry makes, everybody wants to be Steph Curry and shoot more threes. He said that the Warriors changed the way the NBA teams play basketball because he said when he was a rookie in his first few years, and LeBron agreed, if you were up 17, 18, 16 points with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, teams were clearing their benches. Saying, oh, let's get the backups in, 17-point lead. We're good. We won. We're good. Then this little kid comes around and the Warriors come around, and all of a sudden a 15-point lead can go. And it's 3 because they just hit 4 shots in a row and you don't know what hit you. And 2 of the shots were from the logo. That's how I feel about the Bengals, man. All it takes is and this offense is the Golden State Warriors of the NFL. And as long as that core consists of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and they still got T. Higgins, by the way, they can light up the scoreboard against anybody, and it ain't going to matter. Do I think their defense is worse than it has been in the past? Yes. Their defense needs to improve if they're going to win a Super Bowl. But I, they almost beat the Chiefs at home. That's where I keep going back, or on the road, I mean. They almost beat the Chiefs on the road. There's a lot of teams that have there's a lot of teams that are bad in the AFC. And their division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their division is a conversation. Can they catch the Steelers? Yes.
And the
Yes.
Ravens?
Can they catch the Ravens?
Both. I mean,
You're having a conversation. But my opinion is to get in, you're gonna have to catch one of them, and I think they can run down they can make up 3 games on the Steelers.
But even if they get in, you have to win 3 games on the road just to get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, you mean that they have to be the last? You mean that they have to be the last seed and win 3 games on the road to go to the Super Bowl? Where have I seen that before? Where have I seen that before? Who's done that? Oh wait, the Golden State Warriors of the NFL on 3 game-winning field goals. Man, where have I seen this before?
I might be clipped by saying Bengals are dead, but I'm going to stand on this.
I have mad respect. We talk about the Bengals almost every freaking week, and we talk about the panic button. And you have been on my side. You have said 3-5 is too dead. Okay, watch.
Yeah, I don't think with the rest of this, I just don't see the path to victory.
Just so you know, they play the Raiders this week. That gets them to 4-5, and they got a divisional matchup on Thursday night against the Ravens. All of a sudden, we could be talking next Thursday. Next Thursday, we could be talking about this next Thursday. What is that? 9 days. They're 500. We just said anything can happen in the NFC North. In 9 days, they could be 500. Is that 9 days? Yeah,
it's actually. We'll see.
I'm just saying.
I think the Ravens are going to be a problem, man.
That's not an easy win. Don't hear that as I'm just saying there's an avenue here where it's a AFC North divisional game. 500. Boom.
I'll give that to you. The Ravens scare me because of the fact that I think that's why I wasn't moved. Is I know they're just going to get scarier. Like Derrick Henry in December is a monster. Like we haven't even seen that yet. We're seeing crazy games now.
We haven't even seen. We have yet to see Derrick Henry in December against a team whose playoff hopes are mathematically eliminated.
I need to start doing some digging now. I feel like that is a perfect futures bet down the road for like a 200-yard day.
Well, let's see. He plays the Browns in Week 18, but that's probably not the one you want. The Ravens schedule actually toughens up a little bit.
Of course it does. They just gotta make a switch.
They've got. I mean, here's the the rest of the Ravens' way. This is actually a significant loss. Wow, that was a significant loss. They play Broncos, Bengals. Now, common sense would say they take care of business in most of these games, but they are tougher matchups than. You know what? They've had a tough road the whole way. Honest to God, they've played the Chiefs. They barely beat the Bengals. I forgot that Bengals lost an OT to the Ravens. Bengals lost an OT to the Ravens, man. Get out of here with this crap. They lost an OT on some BS special teamer.
I'm just saying. Was that in Cincinnati? So this next one's in Baltimore?
Yeah. Hey, man, we sat here this time last year. I went right down the Bills schedule game by game. I do not have that same level of confidence in the Bengals, though.
Hey, no, I'm glad you acknowledge it. Like lightning doesn't strike twice, but it might. So I respect it. I respect it. I respect it.
Hey, hey,
You've been riding with them for years, and I mean, especially with the
we get to the week 10 recap, and we're talking Thursday night. Let's throw it back. The Bengals huge win to get to 500, and the Steelers are now 6-4. They're one game back.
can't wait. I get
Wide
do.
open.
I think you might catch the Ravens, given if they get this next win. But
All right,
I think I'm sold on the Steelers, bro.
here's the Ravens. Broncos. All of these games they should take care of business, but are, in my opinion, losable if they're going to lose to the Browns.
True.
Broncos, Bengals, Steelers, Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Ravens, Texans, and Browns again. Steelers again. Sorry. I said Ravens. I meant to say Steelers again.
Yeah, so we're gonna figure out what that team is pretty quickly.
I think they're legit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are legit. The Steelers are the ones that I think are legit. But if I'm the Bengals, I'm saying they got to play the Ravens twice. If we can pick off the Ravens and split our Ravens, and then see if the Raven, see how that plays out. And the Ravens still got to play Houston and Philly. Okay, let's have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like
that is definitely worth the conversation. I hear that.
All right, now we got one game left to talk about, and this might take this. We had some fun with the we had fun with the Jets. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this one.
We're gonna have fun with this one.
Bears Commanders.
Oh.
Final score 18-15. Commies move to 6-2. Bears fall to 4-3. Take it away. Tell us how we got this final score.
Oof. So let's see. I was just watching Red Zone. Kind of in that lull of, I feel like most people watch Red Zone the first 3 hours, then the second afternoon window hits, take a little nap. But I always kind of wake up for that.
You wake up for the witching hour.
Yep. I always get I'm back at it. And so Red Zone cuts off. There's only one game to go. I'll flip back over to the Bears, and see just Jaden Daniels just running around. I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't have anything on this. I mean, this just buying time. Throws it up.
Okay, hold up.
Yeah,
let me push back on that. The Cardinals' throw was better than this one.
Okay. Yeah,
the Lions. This is better than the Lions one, but the Cardinals.
I'll say in extending time, very creative. Was very creative. But the Cardinals throws.
Oh, he's off his back foot and a guy's in his face. I mean, what are we?
Yeah, it doesn't get much. Yeah, that is the level of difficulty. But for Jay Daniels, the ball, and I'm like, gonna be short. Definitely came up short, and then all of a sudden, something they teach in what is it, grade school? I mean, PE class, box out. You just gotta box out. You just gotta box out. You just gotta bat the ball down. And not only do they not box out, not only do they not bat the ball down, they bat the ball up.
They bat it up.
The guy wide open in the end zone. And literally, like a pass that wasn't even going to make it to the end zone ends up in the end zone. Oh, and by the way, pre-play, you have the guy who was supposed to be marking said individual who caught this stray touchdown to win the game, jawing with the fans, like not paying attention. If anyone has seen the classic, like, guy who creates his corner in NCAA clip where he's like hyping up the crowd and the play just starts and the AI burns him like immediately. That was the vibe. Like their own Bears fans were in shambles. Like the few that were like, they're like, the place, like telling them the play started. The guy runs and it was too late. It was just too late. The game was over.
The guy turns around, and Tyreek Stevenson is facing the crowd for the first 3 or 4 seconds of this play, turns around and the receivers are virtually on him, proceeds to run to the pile, jump up with one hand, and he's the guy that tips it up. And then not
He
only
was
does he
the
do the
guy.
fundamental Cardinal sin, it was then confirmed after the game that he was the guy responsible for boxing out Noah Brown. That was confirmed by Matt Eberflus. And the
Oh,
camera fell over in despair. I mean, this is like comical. What are we doing loss here? They played great defense on one of the more explosive offenses in the league all game. The Bears looked good defensively. This offense struggled. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe and this is the type of loss, man. This is the type of loss that just ends a season's moment. Like it just blows up a season. I'm dead serious. And I'm not like hopping on like the Bears hate train here this is the type of loss, if not handled properly by the coaching staff and management, is will just lose a locker room like that. I mean, and not only that, now you have Matt Eberflus coming out and saying the penalty before the play didn't matter. We just have to execute on the last play. That's the only play that matters. And then you got Dan Quinn saying, "Oh, that was huge. That allowed Jaden Daniels to get it closer to the end zone. That was huge." And it's like you just see a difference in just like, dude, how do you not? Freak things happen, man. Freak things happen. It's how you respond to them that makes you a good coach and a good player, right? Like, okay, this is going to happen. You play football, you coach football your whole life. This is going to happen to you, man. That's part of the game. And to just respond, it's all going to be about the response. And they played a decent game. The offense. I don't even need to like. We don't even need to
yes.
dive in. But the reality is, yeah, you have problems on offense. You have problems with your coaching staff. And if really the city is going to turn on Matt Eberflus, now we're having a conversation again about a rookie quarterback being drafted by a coach that's fired after his rookie year, and you have a new staff that didn't draft this guy. We're having
Oh,
another conversation about this. Now, I
coming
think
to
that
mind.
Caleb Williams is a level above Trubisky or Fields, that he's going to attract a coach who wants to coach Caleb Williams. Whereas Justin Fields was this there, yes, you got a guy that wanted to coach Justin Fields, but you have this bubble of like he's not this universally regarded generational talent, right? Justin Fields was like he was a great pick and I still think a good player, but he's not this like guy that's going to attract the top offensive coordinators in the league and maybe poach them off the Lions. Ben Johnson. Like, do you get my point?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where Caleb Williams is like, okay, any guy in the league wants to like, I want to, be an offensive coordinator and have and develop Caleb Williams. Yeah, I'll be your head coach. You know what I'm saying? Fields didn't have that magnet effect.
Mm.
But the reality is, here we go again.
Yeah, it's just the same tale with the same franchise. We just talked about the Jets. Talk about redundancy with the Bears. And it's not going to harp on it because, I mean, as bad as the offense looks, Caleb Williams is still a rookie. And even given what happened with A.J. Richardson today, we've talked about Bryce Young before. Like some of these guys are just, they need a longer leash. Well, I will just keep dying on that hill. I know you will too. And I think I'm going to kind of just tag along with what you said on you saw guys after the play like on their knees, like distraught. Like they did not think that was gonna be a loss. Like that was a win where, okay, we can hang with anybody in the NFC. To how did we lose that game? That is a huge momentum turn. And
And a great coach moves on quickly and says, look, freak thing. We didn't execute on that play. We got to be better. We got to pay attention to details. But don't forget, guys, you can play with anybody in the NFC. This is one of
yep.
the hotter teams in football. Don't forget that. A good coach would do that. I just don't know if the Bears have that guy.
Let's find out. We're gonna find out really quickly here. I know they got a couple of decent games up on the schedule. I know Packers got to be coming up.
The Bears' next few Now, mind you, the Bears were famously known as a team who had four wins against four teams that did not have more than one win.
Okay.
That remains to be true, I believe.
Hmm.
Except the Rams. Um, they play the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Packers, Vikings, Lions, 49ers, Vikings, Lions.
Yeah,
What is
yeah. I
this
mean,
stretch, man? Packers, Vikings, Lions, Niners, Vikings, Lions, Seahawks, Packers.
oh, just me. I feel like every schedule we've read off today is just like
Yeah, I did
atrocious.
see that. I did see this was going into this week. The Bears have the hardest remaining schedule in football. PFF. Yeah, they said that
Oh, wow.
going
Yeah.
into the Commanders game, which they then almost won, which would have been huge, right? You have a game like this and a schedule like that, you gotta get it when you can. And now it's like you're going into a Cardinals game. It's like that's a losable game, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap! If you have to beat the Cardinals and the Patriots because you're looking at Packers, Vikings, Bears, Niners, Vikings, Lions, and even if you split each of your divisional matchups in between there, you have Niners and Seahawks.
That's a stretch. I mean, that is. We're gonna find out if they're a playoff team pretty quick.
Yeah, we're gonna find out that they're not. Hate to be that guy.
Yeah. No, it's trending that way. You need to
Yeah,
feel somewhat of an offense.
yeah. But all right, those are our top our games that we're going to talk about this week. Quickly recap our week 8 predictions. We were both 10-6, so we got there in different avenues.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
yeah, if you want to go
A
over that, we
lot of good
can. But
picks. No,
um,
I'm good.
essentially, I started ice cold. I mean, ice cold. You had a through the were the Texans in the first window
Yeah.
with the Lions. I think the but okay.
You might.
So through the noon window, I was 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 and 7, and you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever that you had five. You had a 2 game lead on me, and then I didn't miss.
Wow.
So
So you
then I
finished
went
9-7 or
a 10-6. I missed that 3 and 6.
3-6? Okay.
Yes, 3 and 6, and then ran the table, as some might say.
Wow. Good for
Uh,
you.
and then you've got the last four because we had all the same picks, but you picked the Seahawks and the Bears. Had the Commanders and the Bills.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The way that goes.
So
Wow.
for the year, that puts me at 78-45 and you at 71-52.
Okay. Can make up some ground.
Yes. So starting on Thursday night, Texans play the Jets in New York. I'm taking the Texans.
Taking the Jets.
Here we go again. Saints play the Panthers in Carolina.
Panthers.
I'm gonna take the Panthers as well, assuming Dalton is playing.
Yeah, maybe not Bryce Young revenge game. I don't know who's quarterback
Um,
Saints right now, so I'm just staying away.
yeah. Commanders play the Giants in New York.
Commanders.
Yes, I agree with that. All right. Dolphins go to Buffalo.
Bills.
Yeah, I'm not picking against Buffalo. They're in a must pick category at home, especially.
Hey,
Chargers go to the Browns.
good one. I'm gonna go with the Browns.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Patriots go to the Titans.
Patriots.
I'm gonna take the Patriots as well, just on I don't
I hate the Titans.
the
I hate
Titans are
everything they're
just
doing right
they're
now.
just
I don't like
bad.
their. Yeah, I don't like Bryce
And
Young.
they could very easily win this game. I'm gonna be mad about it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Falcons have the Cowboys at home.
Falcons have the Cowboys at home. I heard somebody tell me at work it's gonna be like a Cowboys win to get right. And I just disagree. I think Falcons win.
This is a Cowboys lose. Fan base hits the panic button
Yeah,
all day.
yeah, yeah.
I wrote us both down for
Either way.
Falcons so long ago.
Good.
Raiders go to Cincinnati.
Bengals. They gotta.
Here we go. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Then here we go.
Yeah.
Day one.
Broncos at Ravens.
Ravens.
I'm taking the Ravens as well.
You picked twice.
Yeah. Bears go to the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I'm taking the Bears.
Fair enough. They burned me last week, so I'm salty.
They might burn me this week. They might need to return to my ultimate no pick list because they've been there for a few years. Jags go to the Eagles. That might be the easiest game I've ever selected in my life.
Yep, that's a quick one.
By the way, how does Doug Peterson still have life?
Fall off is real.
Rams go to the Seahawks.
Great game. I'm gonna say Rams.
Rams got juice, man. I'm taking the Rams.
All right, yeah. I know
Best value I will ever get on this selection. The Packers play the Lions. I'm taking the Lions. That's the best value ever.
Oh,
Don't you dare.
damn. No, I'm taking the Packers.
Oh, okay.
That is really good value though. Is it in Lambeau?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vikings host the Colts on Sunday Night Football. Oh,
Vikings.
It is Joe Flacco. I'm gonna take the Vikings. I'm
Flacco.
gonna take the Vikings at home in a tune-up. Bucks play the Chiefs on Monday night in Arrowhead.
I always feel like I just want the Chiefs to lose. So I'm like, I could see the Buccaneers winning this, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
I might have to do some research. That might be your first time selecting the Chiefs all year.
Yeah,
you picked them last week. You picked them last week. You picked them.
I think because I realized I keep picking against them and just losing picks,
and losing them to me.
Past couple of years,
this is what my adjustment. The first year we did this, you beat me, and my adjustment the following year was like, I'm just gonna pick the good teams every time, and I'm gonna win. If the Chiefs win 14 games or 13 games, I'm gonna go 13-3 on Chiefs games. I'll take it. Like that was my philosophy. And then you win. You have those middle matchups where it's like, I don't know. But it's like I don't know, Jim. Yeah, I don't know, Jim. It's a little Mahomes. But anyways. This episode ran a little wrong. As always, thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and TikTok. We will be back next week to recap this, and we'll be back the week after that to recap the Bengals moving to 5-5. But anything to add? Any closing statements?
Better hope that 5-5 holds true, man.
Hey, this was a fun one,
fun conversation.
Hey, this was a fun one.
Absolutely.
You know what's going to happen is it's going to be 4-6 with like another like heartbreaking loss to the Ravens. Like, they're playing with the best team in the AFC. What do you want me to do? It's just a 50-50 game. Like, what do you want me to do?
And you could still be convinced they just got to win 7. They just got to win the table.
Anyways, as always, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. For the YouTube guys, they saw me make a reference. But as always, thanks, guys. We'll catch you next week.